Hi, this is Nathaniel from Delta Photonics, and I wanted to give you an update on the Vision Research Phantom high-speed cameras and latest software. Vision Research have released a whole range of cameras and software recently that may be useful for your research and something you may want to investigate. So firstly, they've just released a Phantom Camera Control 4, so PCC4. This is a brand new interface for working with their cameras. It's specifically designed to be more in line with modern software and multi-camera applications, and provides a very intuitive interface. The great news about this is there's no cost to this. It runs with older cameras, so you can download this today and start using it as you are. They've also released what they're calling the Phantom CineAnalyzer. So this is a Python interface for analyzing the videos that you have made. And this can work with Cine's files, their proprietary format, whether you're using PCC3 or 4, and allows you to do things like motion tracking, fluid analysis, etc. And so this is a really nice plugin, effectively, to use with your Phantom cameras and to use with the Phantom data to provide you quick and accurate results. So moving to the cameras, the top of the line is the TMX cameras, headlined by the TMX 7510. So Vision Research uses a specific naming function, which can make it very easy to understand the performance of their cameras. So the first digits will be the throughput in gigapixels per second. The next digit is the resolution, and the last digit is the revision number. So where you see a 0, that is it's just been released and hasn't been modified since release, and you'll notice a lot of zeros because of all the new products. So the TMX 7510 is a 75 gigapixel per second camera, providing you speeds of over 75,000 frames per second at 1 megapixel. They also have the 6410, so around 66,000 frames per second at full resolution. And they have the 5010, which is 50,000 frames per second at 1 megapixel. This is a very popular camera because it allows you to have all the added features of the TMX platform, as well as the opportunity to upgrade later, going up to a 7510 or a 6410. In the upper mid-range category are the T-series cameras. There are several 4 megapixel cameras. So the T4040 is a 4 megapixel sensor and will go 40 gigapixels per second. And then they have the 2540, and they also have 1 megapixel cameras. So that's where you are more looking for raw speed compared to resolution. 1 megapixel camera headlined by the 3610, which can go at 36,000 frames per second at 1 megapixel. And this range is very popular where there are any size constraints because this camera is a bit smaller than the TMXs, and it still allows you to use some of the advanced features such as the CineMag compatibility for storing large amounts of data on a removable SSD. Both of those camera ranges, the TMX and the T-series cameras, have the option to have the sensor as a UV enhanced sensor. So this increases the sensitivity down in the UV range and can be used for applications such as combustion, where there are specific spectral lines in that range. And here is the spectral response curve. So it goes all the way down with very high efficiency to 300 nanometers and reasonably falling off to 250. And yeah, for this can allow people to forego an intensifying screen in front of a visible high-speed camera and make direct measurements of UV exposures, whereas the traditional way was using a screen, and that adds complexity, reduces throughput, and cost. So in the mid-range category, they've released the KT series. So these are cameras that are about a 5-inch cube, maybe a little bit smaller. And they have the 4 megapixel options, starting with the 1640. So that goes at almost 4,000 frames per second at its 4 megapixel resolution. And again, this is where one is focusing on higher resolution with high speeds. And then they have the 1 megapixel lineup. So the 1610 is the headliner there. It can go almost a million frames per second to reduce resolutions, and it can go at over 16,000 frames per second at its full resolution. We have this camera as a demo camera, so if you're interested in seeing that in your lab and your application, please reach out to us and we'd be happy to arrange that. The last category of full-size cameras are the VO. These are the last of the front illuminated sensors that Vision Research are still selling, whereas all the ones I've talked about up until this point have the new back illuminated sensors. And these have been selected because of their high performance and some of their specific optical properties. You have the E-series, which provide you an entry level to the Phantom ecosystem, so both a 1 megapixel and a 4 megapixel. And then there is the 1 megapixel 1310, very popular for its high sensitivity with high speed, as well as 2 4 megapixel options that are available. When we're looking at highly compact cameras, they have the C series and the N series. So these two new C series cameras have just been released in the last few weeks, and they are designed to be rugged. They're very small, and they provide cameras that are good to go on crash test rigs inside of, say, cars for a crash test, or in any application where you're going to have high Gs or high vibrations. So they're highly ruggedized. So we have the 4 megapixel C54J, which will go at over 1,000 frames per second at that 4 megapixel resolution, and the C980J, which is a 4K sensor. And that will allow you again to go at 1,000 frames per second, but now at 4K, and is able to go in very small spaces as well. The other C series cameras are 2 megapixel, the C32 one is the standard version, and then the Air is designed specifically for airborne applications. And if you were looking for something even smaller, the Miro N5 is a very, very small camera and is designed to go into very small spaces, such as maybe a wheel well or a component to provide high-speed resolution in very compact spaces. All of the cameras I've spoken about up until now have internal RAM, but Phantom also make streaming cameras that can be used for machine vision or any application where you need live analysis of the data that's coming in. So there's a 4 megapixel and a 7 megapixel camera, and these use co-express over fiber so that you can have high throughput over long distances and then record this onto a digital video recorder, DVR, with high speed memory, or go into a PC and record it there. And there will be several new cameras in this range coming shortly. Just to mention that Phantom also provides services. So if you have an application that you want input on, we at Delta Photonics and Phantom out of the US can provide you application support on that. And they will also do analysis of your files if you have a really great recording, and you want some assistance in the analysis, they can do that. They can also make you custom modules for the Phantom CineAnalyzer so that you can have that in-house long-term and have that availability. So please let me know if that's of interest. My number is 604-262-0167. I look forward to speaking with you soon.